Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Damo here, back with another one. And in this one, as you can see, we're going to be doing a DBD killer tier list video. And as you can see, it also includes the twin. So the reason I decided to do this is because when the twins were released, I had a much different opinion than other people. I actually thought that she was relatively viable. And I think that's because a lot of people um, didn't want to play in a certain way, like slugging specifically. I think she's absolutely the best slugger in the game. I think much somehow even does better at slugging than Billy. But she also has downsides to make her, is she better? Is she not as good as Billy? I guess you'll have to see where I place her. But regardless, I'm saying that I thought she was great. I knew instantly that the twins were actually a pretty goddamn good killer. And most people thought they were shit because, like the locker thing, which I didn't even experience really. But thankfully they made a fix to that. I can't say that that wasn't a downside. It was. So thankfully they fixed that, which also places her much higher up on, or I guess I won't say much higher up, but it does definitely edit where she would have been beforehand if that continued to be a thing where they could just hop in a locker and you can't do anything. So, anyways, to get right into it, let's start with it. Trapper. We're gonna put Trapper in. So this isn't gonna be definite. I'm probably gonna switch some of these around at the end of the day, but I think we're gonna put Trapper in C tier. I think Trapper is pretty good. I think the biggest downside to Trapper is that he has way too many counters. You can just dead hard over his traps. Sometimes you can walk around his traps if they don't place it correctly. His traps are really predictable. You can undo his traps by, like whatever, however you do it. Undoing his traps. I don't know what it's actually called, but you guys know what I mean. There's just so many counters to him, and I think the map size. I guess the map size isn't really too much of an issue anymore. I would say gen speed, or just you can't get to all the gens fast enough. Trapper has nothing to make him faster or to be able to traverse the map fast enough to get to these gens to protect all of these gens that need to be protected in order to win. I think he can do it. I think he's best in a 3-gen situation. I think you should literally set up a 3-gen, let them fuck you over until they fuck themselves with the 3-gen, and then try to control the 3-gen. And sometimes you can win, sometimes you can't. I think that's your best bet with Trapper. And that's a 50-50 chance, so I put him in C tier, definitely. Um, oh man, Wraith. Boom, E tier. I don't even actually know if I'm gonna keep E tier. I might delete E tier. So in that case, I'll put him in D tier. But oh man, is Wraith bad? Wraith is fucking bad. He's so bad. What does he have going for him? I guess he can make him fast, but other than that, he's an M1 killer, which I just there's not much to say. There definitely with the map changes, he's becoming better and better because with the map changes, they're making less huge loops and a lot more smaller loops. So that definitely helps. You can't just get looped for days on a giant ass loop. Um, you'll eventually catch up, but there's really not shit you can do with him. The one thing he has is he's like kind of fast if you use his speed add-ons. That's it. You have to use his speed add-ons. So I really feel like they should rework him and make his normal speed his like speed add-on speed. But yeah. Anyways, Wraith he just has nothing going for him. Billy, Billy, gotta put him in A tier. Now previously he probably would have been an S tier, but I guess I haven't used his chainsaw. I've heard it was pretty bad, um, but I haven't used his chainsaw. I think now with the way that the game is forming, I think he's starting to get pushed down and down and down more and more and more as more killers come out and take up more and more spaces and really level out the range between each one. But anyway, so yeah, definitely A tier. He's still really good. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not as good as he was before. And before he was S tier, so he's got to be pushed down one to A tier. Um, and then we got Nurse. You already know Nurse has got to go in S tier. Even with her nerf a while back, I think she's still absolutely fucking incredible, super broken. Uh, it really does suck that she has to wait for her charges to come back. That's really fucking annoying. I would say other than that though, she's absolutely incredible. I don't even really think they needed that. What else did they nerf? Maybe that was the only thing they did. I think they changed. No, they changed their add-ons. I think that was the one thing that really needed to be changed. They probably could have kept the like they probably didn't need to recharge her blinks. She probably could have infinitely blinked. That probably would have been fine. Just no six blinks back to back to back. That's what gets really annoying, and that's what really made her like too overpowered. But regardless, even with the recharge, you can use certain add-ons to make it practically no recharge. So yeah, boom, S tier. That was common sense. She basically defines S tier in this game. Mikey Myers, man, where do I put Mikey? I'm gonna go ahead and put him in C tier. He would probably be in D tier or even E tier, but because his add-ons, he has certain add-ons that just absolutely changed him as a killer 100% completely. And I think that puts him up a little bit, but you also got to keep in mind that he's not that great of a killer in the first place, so still C tier, but he does have some pretty broken add-ons that make him pretty viable sometimes. Hag. Where do we put Hag? So Hag is an interesting one that I know has been quite a topic recently with tier lists. I'm gonna go ahead and put Hag in A tier. Hag is pretty goddamn good. Kind of like Trapper, but for some reason works a lot better. I think the main reason being is because no one's going to crouch all the time. I think the majority of people would rather just set off the trap and see if you teleport to it and then get chased. And if not, cool, you wasted a trap. And I don't think everyone uses flashlights, so that's really not that big of a worry anyways. And if they are using flashlights, I guess leave the lobby if you're playing Hag. It's really annoying you can't switch killers anymore. But anyways, regardless though, Hag is absolutely insane if you have fast reaction time, even on controller. I literally will play the game as Hag and just continuously spam the teleport button. And as soon as you teleport, you're facing the survivor always. So if you just hit the swing button, if they try to 360, you kind of got to manage and like work with it and see if you can get the hit still. But most of the time, they're not going to be able to react fast enough, and you're just going to swing and instantly get the hit as long as you teleport fast enough. And that's just broken. It's basically like you can be the majority of places on the map all at once as long as you place a trap there. It's really OP. I'm telling you, Hag is underrated. She used to be not too great. Now she's absolutely insane. I think just the way the meta changed. People aren't using flashlights all the time. I don't know if they always did before. I don't know. Maybe people actually crouched over her traps. But now, you don't want to waste time crouching. That's not something you want to do. So people don't do it. And I think that fact alone right there makes Hag way better than she used to be. Doctor. Now, Doctor has to go C tier. He might even go D tier, but because he had the rework does make him a little bit better, gives him a lot of information. Information is key. The problem is he's not fast. He has nothing to speed him up. So, you can't have one without the other. He has a lot of information, but really doesn't get to use it because by the time he does, all the gens are done. So it's like, I think people would really get mad at me if I put him in D tier, so I'm not going to put him in D tier. I think I genuinely think he's D tier. I don't think he's C tier, but I'm going to put him in C tier because I know people will be mad if I put him in D tier. And yeah, so yeah, that's basically that. Huntress. This is a pretty good one. A tier. Boom. Pretty average. I'm sure most people put her in A tier. The thing is, if you include Iridescent Head, well, you know what? I would probably still keep her in A tier, just because you can't have Iridescent Head every game, But the fact that Iridescent Head exists is absolutely insane and really pushes the limit to push her up into S tier. That just should not exist. They need to take Eerie Head out. Other than that, she's pretty good. I almost want to put her in B tier. We'll see where everything else ends up going. Just because she falls short on a lot of the maps. Maps absolutely crush Huntress. She can't do shit on certain maps, so absolutely crushes her. So we'll see. She might go to B tier. We'll see by the end of it. Bubba. Oh, man. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm going to be honest here. Now, this one might come as a surprise. A tier. Bubba is A tier. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Okay. Bubba is so fucking good with the rework. He can literally down someone from halfway across the map. Unless they get to a pallet and drop it, they're done. And that's the thing about Bubba is they have two choices. A, get downed, or B, waste a pallet. They literally have no other choice in they can't throw the pallet and then loop you around it. They can't mind game you. They literally can't do anything because Bubba takes pallets and removes them and basically just makes it okay, we're just going to chase each other. And because his chainsaw can go halfway across the map, those chases aren't long at all. They're short as fuck. Bubba with the new rework is actually OP. Hear me out. I'm telling you. A tier for sure. Again, maybe B tier, but because he doesn't fall short on any map. Doesn't matter the map, as long as you can control him, you're going to be really good with him. So that's why I probably put him in A tier. But yeah, maybe B tier. Again, we'll have to see where all these things go. I don't want to get too overcrowded in A tier. And looking down at the bottom, I already see a couple more that I plan to put into A tier. Next one coming right off bat is going to be Freddy. Actually, you know what? I really almost want to put Freddy in S tier, but I don't have a solid logical explanation for why Freddy wins all the time. So I'm going to put him in A tier. I don't know why Freddy is so overpowered. I think it's the mix of having something to do with chases, being the pallets or the puddles, as well as being able to teleport anywhere on the map whenever he wants. And having perks like barbecue and chili, having this information already so you can just, where to teleport. You're not guessing. You don't have to waste your teleport. I think it's just so overpowered. I think people underestimate Freddy because his hand is just a hand, but all hitboxes are the same, they say, as killers. So, like, Spirit's sword is the same length as Freddy's fingers, even though they don't look the same length. So they like to say Freddy's lunge is longer. Honestly, I believe it. Sometimes I really do believe this because it's insane how far Freddy will hit you away from. But I think that's another thing that puts Freddy up there is his lunge is just, I don't think if it isn't longer, then the problem is it doesn't look like it should reach, and therefore you underestimate how far he's actually going to swing and hit you. I think it's one of the two, definitely. Boom. So now we got Pig. Ooh, man. Pig is a rough one. I'm gonna put Pig in C tier as well. Pig has got to go in C tier. I almost want to put her in B tier because she has a lot of like add-ons that she can use that can make her really overpowered. But the thing is I feel like she's too slow. That's kind of what she does is you use certain add-ons, you slow down the game, you just patrol the head pops, and eventually everyone's head pops because you use certain add-ons to make it to where they have to instantly go to every single one, and if they don't, then their head pops because they wasted too much time. Like I said, there's certain add-ons that you can do certain things with, but overall, I just don't think her ability is that great. It works, it's cool, it's Pig, but it just isn't that great, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll probably put Pig in C tier. And once again, man, we are filling these motherfuckers up. A and C tier are getting filled up right now. Clown, gotta go in C tier. With the new rework, he's not complete shit, but he's not good either. So, it's pretty much all you gotta say about Clown. C tier. He can't get across the map. He has a little bit of chase control, but like even then it's like not that much, like it doesn't really do that much in a chase. You can use it specific ways, and some people know how to use Clown a little better than others, but overall, he can only go to a certain extent. He has a limit to his abilities. He can't go any further, unlike people like Nurse who have insane capabilities. Clown is kind of limited. So, yeah, C tier for Clown. Once again, C tier. Not much to say really about Ghostface. Average sneak killer, pretty good, but just an M1 killer. Nothing really special. I'm actually gonna put Plague in D tier. I could probably put Plague in C tier, but I'm gonna put her in D tier just for the simple fact that there's way too many people in C tier right now. Um, she's just not that good. Her ability isn't terrible, but again, speed, she can't get anywhere, and the problem is she has to go out of her way to even use the useful part of her ability. So yeah, you can't waste the time. She just wastes too much time. Not that great. Probably maybe C tier if you use the right add-ons, but I don't think her add-ons are that crazy, so probably D tier. Legion, bingo bango. You saw that one coming. D tier. His ability doesn't do anything at all, really. It just slows down the game, and then it makes your chase longer than it really needed to be. I guess you can kind of like get a free hit first, but after that, you can't use your abilities, so you have to go on a regular chase. So it's only like you can only use your ability like half of the game, and that's just kind of like eh. And not only can you use it half of the time, it's not that great. So it doesn't really help you out that much. Legion, not that good. D tier. Yeah. So boom, the next one. As of right now, I'm gonna put Spirit in S tier. As of right now, I still believe Spirit is S tier. There's been bugs where you can maybe hear her footsteps a lot louder. I think things like that, if they were implemented into the game, could bring her down to A tier. I think maybe increasing Nurse's recharge speed on her things could also bring her down to A tier again as well. As much as I hate the recharge speed on her blinks, I think doing something like that could probably bring her down to A tier. If they wanted to eliminate the S tier, that's what they could do. But as of right now, I think she's in a good spot. Her feet or her footprints, whatever you want to say, they aren't that loud. They don't make that much noise. So yeah, it's a 50-50. It's a guessing game with Spirit. If you're good with Spirit, you're better at guessing than the Survivor most of the time. But yeah, so S tier for sure. Probably common sense. Most people would probably put Spirit in S tier still. Yeah. Demigorgon. I'm actually gonna put Demigorgon in B tier. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Um. Do I want to put Demigorgon in B tier? I think I am gonna put Demigorgon in B tier, and I'll tell you why. I think the reason why Demigorgon goes in B tier is he has a little bit more utility than all of these guys. He can teleport across the map if he has his portals placed down. And his ability is actually useful. It can actually end chases much faster. It is very good. If you're a good demo player, you can actually like curve around corners almost like Billy. Like you can start your lunge on the corner of an object and it'll slide you across the corner, and then once you pass the corner, you'll go straight at the survivor who's running around the corner, obviously. Um if you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. If you don't, you could probably look up a video. Good demo players know how to do this. It's actually insane. I learned it at one point. I can kind of do it, but I'm no pro. I definitely don't main Demi, and I don't play him very often. But he is very good. I really love his ability. I really do think that his ability is one of the most fun in the game. I think he was one of the coolest killers. I think when he came out, he really shook up DBD and the creativity in DBD. And yeah, other than the creativity, though, I think his ability is great. And he has two abilities. That's what puts him in B tier mostly, is because he has much more utility than any of these guys. Yeah. Moving on, we got Oni. This is a hard one. This one is a hard one. I think I'm gonna put Oni in A tier. Oni is pretty goddamn good. His slugging ability is really, really, really fucking good. The only thing is that Billy is kind of like a better slugger than Oni, because Billy is like Oni but all the time, whereas Oni's only sometimes. So like if that alone puts Oni to B tier for you, then boom, Oni's B tier. But for me, I think Oni's ability is still so good, and you can still slug so well with it, that it still makes him A tier. I think his ability is just too good. Being able to one hit, and it's really easy to control, and because they added the curve back, I think he went definitely, maybe without the curve, maybe even C tier, but with the curve, he can definitely go back up to A tier for sure. Maybe B tier if you think only having his ability sometimes is worth putting him down to B tier. I personally don't, because I still 4K a lot with Oni, because Oni is absolutely insane, and like I've been saying, his ability is absolutely cracked. And moving on, these next few are the next two are literally going to go in the exact same spot. Boom, B tier for both of them. Why am I doing those two right next to each other like that instead of doing them one at a time? Because their ability is the exact same thing. It just looks different. Um, it's the exact same thing. You just reach out a little bit in front of you, and if you hit the person, you get the hit. If you don't, then you don't get the hit. The only difference is Deathslinger is a little bit cooler because he has a gun. Pyramid Head was cooler at first, but once you really start to play with him, because there's so many other killers already like him, like Huntress, and then Deathslinger being a worse Huntress, and then Pyramid Head being the exact same thing as Deathslinger but looks different, it just gets repetitive. So I think Pyramid Head kind of like pushed the limit and really made people go, this is boring, stop. And Deathslinger was like, okay, this is kind of cool because there's a gun, and so it was acceptable, even though it was the worst Huntress. But the Pyramid Head really put it over the line. It's like, yeah, that's just, you're getting too repetitive at this point. And back to back, Deathslinger and Pyramid Head, I think we're back to back. So yeah, it's just, And now, Blight. I don't remember if I have a tier list for Blight, but I gotta put Blight in A tier. I have to. Blight is absolutely insane. His speed to cross the maps is so fast, and he can do a curve just like Oni. So if if you learn how to play Blight correctly, you can literally make it to where no matter where they turn, you can hit them. As long as it's not like an awkward angle, there's always going to be those awkward angles where you just simply can't hit. Oh, you calculated wrong, and you just won't get the hit. But if you do it correctly, there's a lot of chances that you can create yourself where you can get the down by forcing the survivor to be in a specific location while you're dashing towards them, if that makes any sense. I have a Blight tutorial on my YouTube if you want to go check that out. If you wanted to main Blight, I'm telling you, Blight is OP. He is really good. I guess I wouldn't say OP, but he's really good. He travels the map super fast, and yeah, even though he's an M1 killer, the fact that he can travel the map so fast and get downs back to back so fast, and he can break pallets just by dashing into them. Oh my god, that literally takes pallets out of the game. It's so good. It's so good. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. The twins. S tier. No, I'm fucking lying. I maybe A tier. Okay? My personal opinion, she's A tier. My personal opinion is she's probably like how do I want to put this? She probably has like Demigorgon level utilities, right? Where both Charlotte and Victor are useful, but obviously one is much more useful than the other, where his lunge is much more useful than his portals. Victor is clearly much more useful than Charlotte. However, she has the slugging ability better than Billy. So you would be having to mix like B tier B tier what was the word I was just using? She basically has a B tier kit but with A tier potential, or maybe even like top A tier potential, like very first A tier potential. She has very first A tier potential with gameplay, but a B tier kit. So it really depends on where you want to place her. I am telling you right now, since the PTB, all the entire PTB, okay, and since the twins have been released, I have yet to 3K. I have 4K'd every single game that I have played as the twins. And no, I am not a rank 20. Okay, I am a red rank killer. I don't get to rank 1 every season because I don't play killer all the time, but I'm always red ranks. I make sure before the end of the season I always get back to red ranks. So I am a red rank killer. I know what I'm doing. I'm going against high level survivors. So it's not that they're stupid survivors. I just genuinely think that this killer is so good, can slug so well. I have 4K'd every single game. I'm telling you guys. I haven't even 3K'd. I have 4K'd every single one. Since the PTB up until this date right now, I have yet to let one survivor escape playing as the twin. So that for me puts him in A tier versus B tier. But that's totally up to you. If you want to make the decision to put him in B tier, I understand the decision. She's very hard to use. I would say Blight and the twin kind of have similar difficulties, but in different ways. Whereas the twin is kind of like a chess game, right? Whereas Blight is kind of like quick reaction time. How fast can you be? The twin is more like a chess game. You know, you put your places on the board and you wait for them to fall into place. And I think that's hard for some people to do. But I think, you know, for me, that shit is fucking easy, dude. That shit is easy. Oh man, slugging is too easy with this killer. But with that, I think I can go ahead and delete E tier. And yeah, I think this is going to be my tier list. Let me rearrange this a little bit um, to level them out to where I think they would be. Um, like actual skill wise, so they're actually lined up. So like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and whatever. So hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Let me see. Boom. Uh. Probably something like that. I think something like this. Maybe switch around one or two spots. But this is probably what it would look like. So this is the best killer in the game. Second best, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22. But you also have to keep in mind that at the same time they're in tiers. So like these are relatively close to levels. This is kind of like, you know, being first, second, third, fourth, fifth. That's personal preference. I guess technically all of this is personal preference, but yeah. Anyways, I think you guys get what I'm saying. They're all relatively the same, but yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope there's a lot of controversy. I hope a lot of talk comes from this. I really do believe that the twin is A tier. This is the biggest thing I want everyone to walk away with. Please, I'm telling you. Don't listen to what these people are saying about the twin. Play, maybe even watch my tutorial just to get the idea of how you're supposed to play. If you really want to play this killer, don't be deterred or turned away by what these other people are saying. This killer is really good. And yeah, that's basically going to be it. This is my tier list. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next one.